Stoicism, the color purple, and Alexander the Great, and a small Greek island called Tyre. Start with little correctives, some T-spine rotation, crawl, hold, downward dog. Then we get into the meat and potatoes here. We've got bench press, 3-second tempo, 5-5-3-1 open. So I'll go up and wait for as the reps go down, and I'll hit an open set at 85% of my max, shooting for about 8 reps on that. The B series, we've got kettlebell swings, superset with med ball chop and release. We've got 10x20 on the kettlebell swing, 10x10 on the med ball chop and release, and then we got a 90-second rest. Got any trials today, boys? Let's fucking go. Smile and dial, man. Those guys come in, just give them the best first impression you can. So reigning champ changed their sizing on their sweatshirts, and now they're like a little shorter on like a crop here. So I'm reading a book, Alexander the Great by JFC Fuller, who is a famous military historian. Looking at his discography on Wikipedia, the dude's ripped like 50 books. It's insane. And he doesn't even cite himself as an author by profession. He cites himself as like in the British military, and then I guess during downtime, or maybe he wasn't a general during war or a major, he was writing novels and books and biographies. So he wrote this one, which is a seminal piece of work on Alexander the Great. By the way, he was like 21 years old when his dad, King Philip, died, and he inherited the Macedonian army. And then 33, he passes away. So in 12 years, he builds the biggest empire the ancient world has ever seen and changes the course of history. Like literally like picks it up from one channel, moves it into another, sets it down, and then he's gone in like 12 years. All right, set 2, boys. Another set of 5. 3, 2, 1. The second half of the book talks about all the different battles. So the big battles that he fought in, the sieges, when he would surround an island or surround a city, use battering rams to break through, and the strategy and the tactics and the engineering that he would do on that. Then another part of the book talks about the small battles that he was in. If you're up in the mountains trying to take a horseman tribe that doesn't really follow the same rules like the big cities, how do you do that? Or way up in the mountains in India, they had some of these basically like castles built into the rocks way up high, and these guys are just fortified up there, and how you attack that is just like a totally different battle than what people were used to fighting. And therein, the author talks about some of the greatness of Alexander the Great. What made him so amazing and a genius is that the spectrum of battles and things that he did, from island stuff, from ocean stuff, to big battles, to open field battles, to these small one-off battles in India, in Macedonia, in Greece, and then the whole like political side that he had behind it as well, like a policymaker. He wasn't just conquering, slaughtering people. He was using policy to make sure that that place like still was able to exist and be a part of his empire while he went and conquered other places. And then what would happen is he would go and he'd conquer one town, another one would kind of blow up. He would have to mob back, fix it, kill some people, put some other people in place, and then go on to the next place, so on and so forth. One of the biggest takeaways, it was just constant action. It was make the decision, we are off, we are on. He would move his army really fast. Nobody was used to marching as fast as he would march. Okay, I got another set. 1 sec. All right, big set of 3. 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3. Oh yeah. I'm reading this biography about Alexander the Great. Then I'm using the meditation app Waking Up from Sam Harris, and they just dropped a new series on Stoicism. So I start listening to that, and the author opens it up talking about the founder of Stoicism, or who they credit it to, is this guy named Zeno. Well, it turns out that Zeno and Alexander the Great lived like at the exact same time period, or with like a 50-year difference. And I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. It turned out that Zeno lived on an island called Tyre. I'm like, wait a second, I know about Tyre. It was one of the islands that Alexander the Great laid siege to and did all this insane engineering of like putting battering rams on boats and chaining his boat up to rocks so he could use the battering ram, and like building these giant towers so he could shoot catapults and arrows and then have to like cover it in skins so the defending people from the wall were shooting fire arrows and they didn't want to burn the whole engineering and stuff like that. And then it turns out that Zeno basically discovered or founded Stoicism because he would dye these garments purple. And the reason that purple is such a color of royalty because it was so damn expensive, because you would have to take these snails and you'd have to squeeze them out to get the color purple. So it was like extremely labor intensive and extremely expensive. And this guy Zeno had a bunch of dyed garments and he's shipping it somewhere, and apparently his ship sinks, he loses all of his wealth. And that's how he founds Stoicism. I had to lose everything to realize I had everything. All right, nice set of one here. 3, 2, 1. All right, that's pretty good. So the point is that these two different sources, you've got the Waking Up app, learning about Stoicism and meditation. You've got this amazing book on Alexander the Great from, the military historian JFC Fuller. And they converge on this tiny, tiny island that seemingly doesn't have any impact or difference. We're talking like 330 BC. Like, this is way back in the day, right? 2,500 years ago. It's just cool when you get a confluence of ideas and things that you're researching and reading, and you just find out how they like smash connect. That's the story of Alexander the Great, Tyr, Zeno, and Stoicism. And if you're wondering, was Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan who was, quote, better, or who conquered more, it was Genghis Khan from a volume. All right, here we go. So I need to hit eight reps here. I came out the gates a little hot, such is life. 3, 2, 3, 3. Nice. Booyah. All right, that was a good bench session. Some good military history. Now we move on to the cardiovascular circuit. Okay, always rack your weights, obviously, but some people don't know that. Members here do, though, for the most part. If you've been training here for a long time and you don't know that yet, that could be on us, but you gotta have more intuition than that. You gotta pick up on that, man. Gotta keep the temple clean. Okay, so we're looking at 10 sets, 20 reps of a kettlebell swing, superset with a med ball chop and release, 90 seconds break. Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff. Dude was like 21 years old when he took over Philip of Macedonia, his dad's army. And like 12 years later, he died of malaria. He like lifted the direction of human history out of one channel, put it into another, set it down, and then perished. It's fascinating stuff. And it's like a policy maker too. Like back in the day, people would just conquer and they'd kill everybody. And he did some of that, but like he was also known for not doing that and basically putting people in place. He wouldn't just put Macedonians in charge. If he conquered some Persian stuff, he put some Persians in there because he's like, hey, we need the people kind of fucking vibing and into this. So when we go capture the next 50 places, I don't gotta come back here and clean up after your guys' shit. Let's open the gates of strength. One of the most famous traditions in Allegiant history. So if you've ever seen our Instagram, you know that opens with Enya in the background playing. We've done it every day since we have been in business. However, the garage door is broken right now, so we have to manually do it.